This is Cosmic Crypto, the DeFi Degen, coming at you with another video. Today's video topic is Rocketpool. Rocketpool is a project in the Ethereum staking space. If you did not hear, earlier this week, Ethereum got enough deposits into the ETH2 contract to be able to start the Genesis block of Ethereum 2. So there's a lot of detail there that I'm going to kind of gloss over, but essentially you need 32 Ethereum to be able to stake, and Rocketpool tries to help mitigate that requirement. So there's two sides to Rocketpool. One side is a staker, and as a staker, you just stake Ethereum, and you get rewards based on the rewards generated from the validators on the Rocketpool network. And then as a Rocketpool node operator, which is what we're kind of cover today, you are running a node and you have to put up 16 of the 32 ETH, but you get extra percentage of the rewards for running the node. And those rewards, that extra is paid out by the stakers. So as a staker, you wouldn't get the full amount of ETH that you would if you were a node operator, but you don't have to be a node operator either. So that's what's going on. So right now, in an hour and a half, this thing starts, the second beta. And if you come to here in an hour and a half, there will be a little staking thing. It'll look different. But anyway, just make sure that you change your Ethereum network to the Garely testnet in your MetaMask, like I just right here. That is what's going to allow you to stake it, but you got to get some Garely ETH. So that's there's a couple of different ways you can do that. There is a ETH staker Discord group that has a channel that you can post in every 6 hours and get, I think it's 32 ETH. And there's also there's a website they have here. Let's see. This faucet.garely. And how it works is you either tweet with an Ethereum address, or you make a public Facebook post with an Ethereum address, and then post the URL to that post here, and then you can select whether you want to get 14 Ether, and you can do it again in a day, 35 Ether, and you can do it again in 3 days, or 87.5 Ether, and you can do it again in 9 days. So that's just a way to get the Garely ETH. You need that either you need any amount to stake, and you need 16 to run a node. Or to run a validator, I should say. That's more accurate. All right, so this beta is about to start. And we are going to be, that's a staker's guide. Just a node operator. Here we go, node operators. Okay, so here's the node operator guide. I'll have the links to these in the description. But essentially, we're going to run a cloud node, a Linux cloud node, and install some software and use Docker and get it going. All right, so the first step is going to be I'm using Hetzner as a service. Some of their documentation recommends you using Amazon, but I found that this Hetzner is much cheaper and it works well. So we're just going to do Ubuntu 20.04. They recommend 16 gigs this time of memory, and 160 gigs will be fine for storage. I have here a key that I've already loaded. If you are not familiar with SSH keys, you put the public key in, and I've already done it. But what you would do is, so you go to your home directory, and there's a .ssh directory, and if there are no, like here there is a IDRSA and a IDRSA.pub. If those files aren't there, then you have to run SSH keygen to get the files to be generated. And if you're using Windows and using PuTTY, it's a little different. I can make a video on that if folks want me to. Please leave a comment and I can do that. But in this case, we're using Linux. So, and really, anyway, the way I recommend you have a virtual machine that is running Linux to do this stuff. So just make sure that you have a backup copy of your IDRSA, because that's the private key, and the IDRSA pub. Well, you can generate the pub from the IDRSA, but you need to have if you were to lose this instance or whatever, and you didn't have that private key, and you tried to connect to your server, you would not work. And I don't think there's a way to fix it after the fact, or it's already created. So you would kind of be locked out, which would be bad. All right. So anyway, just make sure that's better. Otherwise, you would have a root password being emailed to you. So we won't do that. And we'll just call this Rocketpool Demo 1. And we'll create and buy. All right. And I was going to remove this known host because I was anyway, you saw I was practicing before. Okay, so if everything works as expected, then this should connect us to our host. We're going to accept the fingerprint. This is the first time we've connected. So, all right, we're in. So the first thing we do, and this is Ubuntu, so we're going to update our app cache, our apt repository lists. Okay, so this 40 can be upgraded, so we'll just go ahead and upgrade our packages. And I'll pause this while it works. All right, once that is complete, we'll go over here to our guide. All right, so essentially, we'll just I like to create a user for Docker essentially. So we're gonna run a user add command here. Let's call it RPL. Actually, you know what we want to do? We're going to do an add user. And I've got a password here. Again, I'm going to be blowing all this away when we finish here, so I'm not really worried about any passwords. Okay, we'll just blah, blah, blah. Yes. Okay, so now we have a user that is Rocketpool user, and we've got a password. So we were going to change into this person's user's directory, and then this is the command that came from the website. Curl is installed by default, and if you notice, what this does is it downloads just a Rocketpool binary, a single file, and it puts it in your bin directory in your home directory, and which makes it executable. So we'll run that. All right, and so we'll go ahead and do this Rocketpool service install. Actually, you know what we need? First of all, I need to add, and this is probably not the best way to add a user to sudo, but that is the way we're going to do it today. So this will allow this user, this RPL user, to run commands as root. So Rocketpool service install. Yep. Yes, we will. So it's the Pyrmont. Okay, now it wants our sudo password. All right, and I'm gonna pause this for a second because I think it's gonna take a second. Okay, so if all is well, you'll see this, and we'll just essentially log out and log back in, and we'll do Rocketpool service config. And we'll definitely use geth, and we'll leave ETH blank. And we're not going to run honestly, I recommend Lighthouse. I've had less problems with Lighthouse. Well, I'm not sure what the graffiti is supposed to be, but go ahead and start the service. And if you notice, it's going to grab the ETH1 client, which is the geth Ethereum Go client, and it's going to grab the Lighthouse client. This is all within Docker. Docker's really cool. Rocketpool uses Docker. It's a way of installing software that's kind of operating system and operating system installed agnostic. You can have it install whatever environment, or whatever Linux environment, and packages and software, and have it be very portable. All right. I'm going to pause this now. Oh, and it stopped right after I paused it. Okay, so cool. So we are, we should be going. So let's see. We got Rocketpool. Service logs ETH1 will show us what's going on with ETH1. And looks like we are about 1 year and 10 months behind right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video, and when ETH1 is synced up, we can create our node, which is the next step, and then we'll go from there. So I'll be right back. Hey everybody, we're back with a little kitty intro there. But as you can see, once the ETH1 chain starts to settle down and it looks like this, then you know you're synced up. So you can hit cancel out of Control-C out of that. And then we'll go down to our next step here. And in this case, you don't really need to do any fancy stuff with the ports, because I'm pretty sure by default it's not the firewall's not enabled. Do a Rocketpool wallet init. All right, and we'll, again, like I said, I'm gonna blow this away. We're gonna use a password here. Okay, so this is the seed phrase for the wallet, and you're gonna definitely want to save this, or well, you can either save this, or there's also a way to export it. But either way, it'll be fine, and then you can like re-import it as a new wallet in MetaMask to be able to claim your rewards. But in this case, we're just gonna parrot back the phrase. All right, so now we have our node. All right, so I guess we'll see. I guess somebody can grab these rewards because I'm not going to. So if you want to grab, first one to grab, because there will be some rewards for this, I believe. Just a little bonus there. So the next step is going to be to check out our ETH2 logs. And looks like it's still syncing. Looks like it's going to take a while. Well, 54 minutes, 1 hour. So I'll be back in an hour. All right, we are back, and now our ETH2 chain is synced. When you start seeing, well, when it stops, well, depending on the client, of course, it'll look a little different. But when you start seeing like finalized epoch and finalized root, and you stop seeing things like syncing and things like synced, then you know you're good. New block received. I don't think you start seeing that until it's synced. So it's just synced. That's good. And while it was syncing, I sent some ETH, some Garely ETH. So we'll look at our Rocketpool node status. All right, so we have a node there, and like I said, the ETH staker gives you 33 ETH. So there we go. That, and if you wanted to send more ETH or send ETH, this is the address that you would send ETH to for this, or Garrily ETH, not real ETH. All right, so at this point, it's a couple hours later. So this thing went from 0 and synced to ETH1 chain and an ETH2 chain in about 2 hours. So with 16 gigs of memory, so that's pretty darn good. I hear it, like even here it says something about it could take days or something. So a day. So 2 hours is much better than a day. So once you get that all set up, you will do a Rocketpool, or once the two chains are synced, you need to register the node. So do a Rocketpool node register. Sure, we'll set the time zone automatically, and it's going to be in Europe because that's where the node is, and whatever, it doesn't matter. They take 2 stats. You'll see in a second. All right, we'll pause it. Let me take a second for this to come back. Okay, so that part's done. We'll register Rocketpool. Now the next thing to do is so there's a node which is basically an ETH1 node and an ETH2 node up and running. So that's a node in Rocketpool parlance. So what we're going to do, since now we've registered our node, and you can have multiple validators running on, one node. So you just need, each validator has to have 32 ETH by definition. So we're going to do a Rocketpool node deposit. Okay, and there's 2 different ways you can do it. You can either do all 32, and then it will go ahead and stake immediately. But in this case, and I should finish my thought there. So if you do 32 and it stakes immediately, it will refund you back 16 once you get, once everything finalizes. So you'll get 16 back. So it's just a way to begin staking quickly. But in this case, there's a ton of people that I can guarantee you have staked on the staking side. So we can just do the 16. All right, and then this here is the commission that I talked about. So this is the fee that you'll get for running the node, and currently it's like almost 20%, or 18.97, and yeah, that's fine. I mean, it doesn't matter really at this point. All right, and so we have a node deposited, and it gives you for the mini pool, which is the validator. We have a new validator. They call it minipools, and it's got an address there. And we can go, since we've got another 16, we can go ahead and do 2 validators on this node. All right, so now again, this part, if you did the 32 after it got staked, you could do, or after it launched, you could get your 16 back, and you do the refund to get that back. So now we can do the mini pool status command. Okay, so what it says here is we have 2 pre-launch mini pools. So that means that they are not launched yet. They are still awaiting, I guess, the deposit, or actually I'm not really sure what pre-launch means exactly, but they're not launched. So I'll pause actually we'll just keep talking for a second, and we'll come back. So since I started the video 2 hours ago in real time, I'm pretty sure now that the website has since the beta started. So what you want to do, like I said, is go over here. I don't have any Garrily ETH in here, but you want to send some Garely ETH to your whatever address here through either of those two mechanisms we talked about. This is just for the staking. I'm sorry, changing gears. Just for staking. Not this. This is if you don't want to run a node. All right, and then so you just hit start, and then you can connect your MetaMask or your ledger directly. Again, I'm connecting my ledger through MetaMask. All right, and then so I don't have any. They have this staked ETH is called rETH, but I don't have any ETH to stake. But if I did, you would be able to do it here. So let's see if these things they're still pre-launch. I'll pause the video again. It shouldn't take long for them to get it seen. All right, rather than wait, I'm just going to show you what it looks like here. This is a node that I've already set up. So instead of saying 2 pre-launch mini pools, it says 2 staking mini pools. But the important bit I was wanting to show you is this validator scene. So until it says yes here, you will not get any rewards. Like you're not actually doing validation. And it's like a queue, and they just started. So now there's 100. It says there's 128 ETH staking across 6 node operators. So right now there's only 6 nodes. Okay. So again, that'll say crap. Here we go. So this will say yes once you're seen, and then you're collecting rewards. I hope this video was helpful. I know it got a little bit weird at the end because I had to wait a bunch of time, and I showed you the staking at the very end. I may do another video on just staking because when I started the video, you couldn't stake yet, and just actually go through the whole process. But this is definitely the video on how to do a node, and eventually, you just leave this thing running, and you'll get rewards and Garely ETH, which is not. I don't think you can withdraw it because right when you deposit into ETH2, until the whole thing gets merged, you're kind of putting it over on another side chain or whatever, or not a side chain, but a different chain essentially. So you can't access it. All right. Any questions or concerns? Please hit me up in the comments. Like and subscribe if you like the content, and hopefully I'll see you next time.